Good evening, everyone. Back again. Seeing a lot of new badges over here. Not seeing too many of the new stuff. I'm seeing a lot of FBI badges or police badges. So it all looks good. Today we're going to be talking about Teresa Corley, the murder in 1978, December 5th or December 8th, whichever. I guess we really can't tell. So let's get started. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for being here, as always. I appreciate all your comments that you leave, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. I think we're at 37,500 subscribers, which pretty much all came from this year. So thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the membership as well. So Teresa Corley. Another case where the shoes are kind of play an important role, but not as important, obviously, as Brenda Condon case. It's a mismatched shoe. They know where it came from, and the police know a lot more, obviously, than we know. So some of the questions that I saw already on the videos, I don't have answers to. They're good questions, and I'm sure that the police have the answers to them, at least some of them. So, start us off with a question. Who wants to go first? I see Doc, Kat, Stacy, Donna, Will, Brittany. Brittany, I know that name. You got something coming in the mail. Katie. Angela, I haven't seen you for a while. Oregon Coast, beautiful. Home of Steve Prefontaine. Manager of 3. I haven't heard from you in a while either. I'm glad you made it. Okay, Donna, the shoe gave me a red flag. Okay, tell me about that. Why does the shoe give you a red flag? Other than she was trying to get out of that apartment and she put on mismatched shoes. It's not like today where, you can kind of tell the difference between a men's shoe and a female shoe. There, they were kind of unisex shoes, but they were definitely mismatched. So tell me why that throws a red flag at you. Where did they find her jeans? I don't know if they found her jeans. Yes, the jeans were next to her. There were some parts of her clothing, and I don't know the specific parts right now. At some point, I think I did know, but some of her clothing was missing. But her jeans were found beside her, I believe. Will, watching a show with my son. I'll have to come back and watch after. Sorry, guys, I know I'm missing out. Hey. Well, you should be watching this show with your son, Will. I guess it depends on how old he is, but I definitely give him a little shout out. Laura, do we know if there was a rape kit done at Autopsy? I don't know that. I would hope so, but I don't know that. Same with the fingernail scrapings. Those are obviously pretty much standard procedure, and I'm sure they did them, but I just don't know the answer to that. Kat says she was in a hurry. Absolutely. I believe that. If Teresa ate the eggs and they were in her stomach at the time of autopsy, then we can conclude possibly that she had to have been killed within 45 minutes of eating those eggs. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know where the eggs are at. I don't know if the eggs are in the stomach, if the eggs are in the digestive tract, in the small intestines, in the large intestines. So without that knowledge, I don't think we can conclude for sure how long it had been that she ate the eggs. 2 different shoes. Did one of the guys at the apartment come to retrieve the shoe and maybe silence her? The second part of your question, to silence her, I would say yes, but to retrieve his shoe, That's kind of a stretch. I don't know if I would believe that. I mean, because first of all, where are they? How are they going to know where to find her? You know, after she left. I mean, by happenstance, she's walking down the road and almost home. So I don't know. I don't know. Is it true a partial profile was found via Teresa's fingerprints? I don't think that's true. I never heard that, but I don't know. I don't understand the two different truckers if they were cleared or not. I'm sure that they were. Uh, um, they were definitely interviewed by the police, and I'm sure they had their time records and everything right there. So, I mean, everything that they said matched up. The first one's dropped her off at the front of the entrance. Second one picks her up there and dropped off, and she's seen by three people. So we can assume that they were telling the truth. The average transit time for eggs to digest out of the stomach and into the duodenum is 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, I will take your word on that because I don't know. And if that's the case, it goes back to my original assessment, which is that she ate at Maria's. But you would think that somebody, it can't be that busy there in the morning, right? The police would have had to have gone there and talked to people. I mean, you would hope that they did. I don't know if they did. That would be after the exhumation. Okay, yeah, I don't know about that, Katie. But someone could have tricked her into taking the Quaaludes, telling her it's Tylenol to help her feel better. Sure, that's possible. The men's shoe on one foot makes me believe that she'd be more likely to accept the ride for the last half mile home. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a long way she's already walked. And I'd like to know the size difference in those shoes, you know. Cheryl Ann, late as usual, made it. I'm glad to see that you're here. Donna, what about the person who stopped at the police station and asked if Corley was found on 495 yet? He knew who she was there. That was Ronnie, from what I understand. And that is one of the reasons he obviously is a main suspect in this murder. I'm frozen. Moon, I'm never frozen. That's why you said never mind. Who do we got here? Make Machiavelli. You're new, so welcome. I am sure she was either given at party or the killer gave her the lewds. Do you think that she was killed by the guy at the party to silence or conceal the crime? Yes. It's either that or she hooked up with a trucker that was leaving or somebody that was leaving out of town. That's the only two possibilities that I have. To me, I don't mean this as shaming. I'm just saying me, I would be terrified if I were raped being around men that were strangers. I would be terrified if I were raped being around men that were strangers. Well, I would hope that you would be terrified by anybody that's raping you. Yeah, especially strangers. So I don't think that's weird at all. If she put on different shoes, they must have been in the same room when she probably got raped. So the shoe belongs most likely to the rapist. Absolutely. If the rapist came to silence her, then maybe he's the one to kill. You're right on there. And I cover that. You'll tonight when I release the Q&A, I said that exact same thing. So we're thinking the same. So I'll release that tonight for you guys. What if your truck driver theory is correct and he saw her in the parking lot of Maria's and had eggs to go? She's cold and the inside of the cab is warm. He offers her a ride home. Sure. I mean, I get that. And I think that's what I put in my original assessment is somebody at Maria's locked into her and offered her a ride home. I mean, to me, it's one reason and a very good reason to explain why getting up on the interstate. If it was a local, I felt there's a river right there. There's lots of woods to get rid of her. Why would you? So it's more secluded to get rid of a body. Why get up on an interstate that's busy, even at 6:30 in the morning? Maybe it's not quite daylight yet, but it's getting there, and you have traffic going to work. To take that chance to dump her there, to me, meant they were heading out of town, heading north on 495. I'm steadfast in that. I could be wrong, of course, but it's the most logical reason for me. For some reason, I've got to keep YouTube is blocking stuff here, and it keeps asking me to show it, so I got to keep clicking on it. Maybe he realized his shoe was missing and went out looking for her. Yeah, maybe. I don't know about that. I keep thinking about the police officer who gave totally different descriptions of how he found a body. Yes, Mary, but you got to understand, this is 40 years later. He's giving those descriptions. He doesn't remember. Okay. I don't think it's anything related to a police cover-up or anything. He's just losing his mind with age. That's all that is. Beham 311, thank you. I don't want your money, but I appreciate it anyhow. I tell everybody that. Don't send me any money. But I would want you as a member. So remember that. Donna, with you as our leader, teacher, and all of this team on Solve No More, one of these times someone is going to unlock a lead that begs to be investigated, and it just might lead to something big. Let's hope so. Okay, you guys, you know what you're doing. There's no doubt. So keep working on your stuff, and you'll make shit happen. I say the shoes were an escape effort trying to get away from the guys at the apartment. Yeah, I mean, it was. She was in a hurry. This is what I envision. She's in the bedroom. Whatever happens, happens. Now, I think I do talk on the video that I'm going to release tonight on the Q&A about an email that I received from, there was a guy in the apartment. His name was Larry, I believe. Larry's best friend, wife, sent me an email. She said Larry confessed to him that Ronnie and Larry held her down while the other 3 or 4 raped her. And then she busted out of the apartment in a hurry. They let her go. She didn't break out, looking for the shoe. And like we had discussed, the shoe, what I would want to know, and I go into this on that question and answer, so I don't want to do it too much, but hey, when I'm interviewing somebody from that apartment, you know what I want to know? First question, we sit down to have an interview. I don't even bring up Teresa's name. First thing I want to know is, hey, what's the cleanliness of that apartment? Well, he's going to say, well, it's fine. It's a normal guy's apartment. Why do you ask that? Well, I'm just curious. Does he vacuum? Does he sweep? Do you guys clean? Well, blah, blah, blah. How about when guests come over? How do they act? Like, is there a hook by the door that you put your coat on? Yeah, we have that there. How about like a placemat when you come in, wipe your feet off of? Yeah, we have that. Oh, so people take off their shoes when they come in, probably, right? No, we don't do that. Bingo. So now you know that when people don't take off their shoes when they come into the apartment, they take them off in the bedroom where she was raped. Then you can work backwards to say, hey, whose ever shoe that was, more than likely is the one that raped her. Right? Maybe I'm crazy. All right. I was very troubled by the chief of police interrupting Ronnie and barging in, demanding the. I'm not too. I've seen that happen before, Doc, so that doesn't bother me too much. He wanted everything audio and video recorded. Some people are like that. The fact she was dumped naked makes me lean more towards a trucker instead of someone from the party, since she was already assaulted by them. Laura, I was in total agreement with you. I pay no attention to truckers on the side of the highway. I assume most people don't as well. Exactly. It provides great cover to drag a body down to the side of a gully. Dave dumped her body on the way home. See, Cheryl Ann, but you can't say that. You don't know that 100%. So what you have to say is, hey, in my opinion, Dave dumped her body on the way home. YouTube made a silly update today and changed color scheme. Other things are weird, at least on my end. Huh. Everything looks the same here for me, Moon. I don't know. Maybe a man put the shoes like that before dumping. Maybe a man put the shoes like that before dumping. No, it was confirmed it came from the house. So she was gang raped. That's what I was told. Was any attempt made to conceal the body? Not that I am aware. Jerry on the podcast said that Steve, one alleged rapist, went to Alpine Apartments. Just so happened that Teresa's boyfriend lived there. Told police that he overheard Steve saying where T was that night. Yep. What's going on, Ken? This is Rodney from Brewington, Alabama. What's up, Rodney? Nice to see you, buddy. That would mean I'm crazy, too. No, because I said I was crazy. Well, we're a bunch of old crazy people in here, I guess. Our police department in my town don't open until around 8, but we can go to the Kentucky State Police. Yep, was my assumption, is maybe she tried to go to the police and they weren't open. But we don't know. It's all conjecture. What if she was dumped that way to blame her murder on a trucker? Very, very possible. Very possible. Especially knowing about all the other serial killers or serial killings that were taking place in New Bedford, and I believe, on the interstate as well. So, yeah, it's possible. A local probably wouldn't risk being seen and recognized on the highway. Well, that's what I thought as well. A local would know more secluded spots to get rid of a body and not the interstate. That was my thinking. She ate eggs at Maria's, started walking home, and those guys were waiting for her. In your opinion, you always got to throw that in there, Cheryl, because you don't know. Shoelace, bootlace is a possible murder weapon. Sure. Was she strangled from behind or in front? Was she sexually assaulted by the murderer? I don't know that. Another thing that I thought of is a purse strap, because we couldn't find her purse that I know of. So I thought maybe if she was carrying a purse, somebody would know that. And a purse strap could be used as well to create that ligature mark. Depends. I was told a thin ligature. Purse straps that I know about are pretty thick, but pretty thin is an arbitrary word. So I don't know. How far away was the highway from the cafe? Joan, I would suggest you pull up Google Maps and look, and you'll see 495. It's not far. I'm going to say maybe 5 miles. guess on my part. But somebody look that up and you'll see it. Did they DNA test the shoe? No, not that I'm aware. I think they found out who the shoe belonged to. So there would be no need to DNA test the shoe. The shoe was from somebody from the Presidential Arms Department. I was thinking the thin thing to choke her with might be speaker wires as well. Sure, that's a good option. What's going on with my camera? Is that better? I think that's better. I'm going to leave it like that. Gina, you're supposed to be sleeping. Isn't it like 3 o'clock over in the country you're at? You can't get up for these. That's ridiculous. Go back to sleep. Although I like seeing you here, I'd rather you get good sleep instead. Smaller purses have very thin. I carry a small leather purse that has a very thin strap. Okay, well, see, I might be onto something. You never know. Yes, based on Jerry's persistence, she found out about a lot. David moved to Kentucky. She tried to contact him until a lawyer was hired. David made accusations of harassment. Did they ever find the other matching shoe? I believe they did. It's frustrating to have so many unanswered questions. Wonder if any part of this would be available in public records. Well, the police logs Gina had sent me. She did some research on that. And Teresa's sister sent me a couple emails this week that had some police reports that I hadn't seen. Some redacted statements, the interview that Ronnie gave, stuff like that. So you just have to be able to search the internet. You can find that stuff. You mentioned that her workplace was something significant. I took that regarding the ligature. Yeah, it was Penthouse Sales, and when I researched what they did, and they manufactured like ligatures. I don't want to say ligatures. You want to say rope of some sort, but it was like a thin rope, and that bugged me a little bit. And I wrote that in my assessment back in 2016 and gave that to Jerry. Other thing about her workplace, I wondered about a coworker. Yep. But the only thing that bothered me about a coworker is they're probably going to work at 6:30 in the morning. And to strike, to be an opportunistic murder, to strike, the only reason I feel that because that time of day is odd. It's just an odd time. Now I know killers strike at any point in time, but for different reasons. If it's a rage killing, but a serial killer out trolling at 6:30 in the morning, yes, but kind of doesn't make sense to me. A co-worker going to work doesn't make sense to me unless they were enamored by her physical state. And by that, I mean opportunistic. She was drowsy. She was cold. She was intoxicated. She looked like an easy target. So, but that would be easy pretty much to find out. Find out what the work hours were at Penthouse Sales. Find out if anybody called off work that day or if anybody was late going to work. There's a lot of leads, I think. Maria's Restaurant, all that to be followed up on. And like I said, the police probably did it. I don't know. I don't know what they did. And I don't want to accuse them without having any facts. So I won't accuse them. I'm going to assume They did all those things. We need the autopsy report. The eggs are the key. If we can find out where the eggs and quaaludes were located in our digestive system, we can determine approximately when she ate the eggs. Right, but Doc, think of it like this. Even if she ate the eggs at Maria's, let's just assume that she did. That doesn't get us any closer to who the killer is. All that does is eliminate, well, she didn't eat the eggs at the Presidential Arms. She still could have been picked up after she ate the eggs by somebody from the Presidential Arms apartment building. And she could have been picked up by a trucker. And she could have been picked up by a coworker. So I don't think the eggs will tell us anymore. Now, they were my key clue, was the quaaludes and eggs. And the reason that being is because nobody had placed her at Maria's. At least, when I talked to Jerry, that wasn't even a thought. No one even thought of that. So when I brought it up, I thought it was key. More, it was a key to a truck driver. Because of 495, because of the ligature. And that's what I thought. So I thought the eggs were important. However, I'm 5 years removed from that, and now I can't get away from what happened at the Presidential Arms. I can't say, man, boy, it's coincidental. She gets gang raped, and then she just happens upon a serial killer and truck driver. I don't know. I was wondering where a semi would have parked, how far they would have to walk to get to his truck, if it was a trucker, and if he did it in the truck or somewhere outside. Well, I'm sure it would have been inside the truck. 7 made it. Glad to see ya. It makes sense to me that she ate at Maria's eggs for breakfast. That makes sense to me too. Maria's is right next to a truck stop. The only thing that matters is between 5 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. That's a pretty good time to start, Gina. Jess is blessed is here. Welcome. If the guys at the Presidential Arms admitted to raping her, wouldn't they say they fed her too? Yeah, I mean, if they were interviewed, but if the quaaludes were mixed with eggs at the Presidential Arms apartment, they're not going to admit to making her any food. Yeah, they just wouldn't admit it. The eggs would give us a time of approximate death. It would, but in the grand scheme of things, does that really matter? Whether the time of death was 5:30 in the morning or it was 6:30 in the morning or 7 or 8, the same suspects will still apply as far as we know. So the time of death in this instant, I don't think really matters. Victimology. In my opinion, she didn't take the quaaludes herself. She was very intoxicated. Well, and your second part of that, Donna, is why she may have taken them on her own accord. She was very intoxicated. So, yes, victimology tells us she probably wouldn't have. And they were probably given to her as a date rape type of drug. However, we don't know that for sure. When someone's intoxicated, as you know, as everybody knows, sometimes you will partake in activities that you would not do when you're sober. So we can't say for sure. Is David still alive? Yes, I believe he is. And I believe that's, like I said, that's the DNA that came back on the genes was his. Did any of them have any criminal records after this? I don't know the answer to that. Ronnie did for sure, because he at least had a DUI when he was interviewed. But I don't know for sure. Any serial killers that used lewds and eggs? It's off that one would be trolling for a victim at 5 at 6 a.m. I agree. I'm wondering if the ligature was a shoelace. Yep, we discussed that, Amanda. That's a good possibility. Did he ever explain why his semen was on her jeans? Well, that was just a recent development, I believe, after her body was exhumed. And I believe that was 2 years ago. I do not know what his explanation was. I am sure that it probably was that they had consensual sex. I don't know where that semen was found. That is almost just as important. If it's found on the inside crotch area where it may have, leaked out of the victim, or on the outside, let's say it's down by the ankles. Why? On the outside. To me, then that portrays a whole different type of meaning with the ligature, where it's at, the point that it could have been from masturbation and not from a consensual, and certainly not from a sexual assault either. So those are questions we just don't have answers to. The fact that David lied about not getting it up when he was asked if he had sex with Teresa. Yes, that's it's certainly troublesome, especially when there's evidence decades later that he obviously did. Cheryl Ann, I'll see you. Thanks for attending. What is certain is someone knows or saw something in that time frame after her last sighting. That's commuter time in greater Boston area and tend to get up early. Well, at least one people saw, the carpoolers, the 3 people, they're the ones that saw her last in front of the Dairy Queen. Get to see the last of the live. Hi, all. Hawk, how are you? Thought you were in here already. My bad. 7, the shoe thing. I can't shake that. I'd be willing to bet she had 2 different shoes on because she was trying to get away as quickly as possible. Yeah, you're right. Don't think it was because she was mad. No, that wouldn't make sense. She's in a dark room in the bedroom. She gets up to leave. She's intoxicated. There's no lights on. And she grabs one shoe and grabs the offender's other shoe. And make no mistake, I'm sure it was an offender shoe because the other person who she was having sex with had to take off their shoes too. I guess they didn't have to, right? Girls really don't have to take off their shoes either, but in this instance, it seems like that was what happened. Steve showed sadistic tendencies as follows: no empathy, remorse, impulsive control, inflicts pain, aggression, recurrent cruel behavior, emotional cruelty. Showed this often in case. I don't know that much about Steve to say that. And I think you're getting that from Ann Burgess, and I know Ann Burgess, and she does, great work. She always has. In fact, and I'm reading one of her books for probably the 3rd time now that I just got pulled back out. So, but I don't know that much about Steve to say that. So you can say that in your opinion. I can't. What about a sexual sadist angle? Well, certainly. Certainly with the ligature, and certainly about 495. That would make you think that, but that's all that you can go off of. Moon, I hear you. Gotta say on those cool cases. That's right, Hawk. Marty, nice to see you that you made it. I appreciate it. The ligature would be sadistic. Well, it could be, but you can't make that assumption either. The ligature could be a weapon of opportunity. Picture this example. Picture Teresa is walking down the road. One of the guys from the Presidential Arms pulls up. Let's say he has no intent on murdering her, but his intent is, hey, we didn't rape you. You consented to that. Remember? You're high on Quaaludes, blah, blah, blah. And she, and known to her victimology, she's a fighter. What if she slaps him? What if she slaps him and says, I'm going to the police. That's it. Now he freaks. He's looking for something. What do I kill her? What do I hit her with? And the only thing that is there is, hey, there's a shoelace. Wrap that around and choke her. That doesn't mean it's sadistic. That's a weapon of opportunity. So you can't make that jump. Does that make sense to you? Katie, he told Jerry that Teresa shouldn't have gotten drunk or she shouldn't be alive. That's cruel. Yeah, it's cruel, but it's also stupid. It's stupidity on his part. So it doesn't make him a sadist, in my opinion. We know how Teresa was dressed when the three men were carpooling at 5:30. I didn't see anything about that. I never heard anything about that. But the truck drivers should know. And I'm sure the police had to have asked. That's a very basic question that you ask. Well, what was she wearing? You say she was cold. What was she wearing? Did she have a coat? Did she have a purse? What all did she say? That would be what I wanted to know. When you picked her up, what did she say? We know that she said she was sexually assaulted to one of the drivers. But what else? What other mundane details did she say? Did she say, I'm hungry? That would give you a clue that she went to Maria's. Did she say, I just want to go home and take a shower? And I'm sure the police have all that information. They had to have asked the truck drivers that stuff. All right, let me move my way back up here. Truck driver seems like an ideal serial killer job. Oh, it is. She was running. That's so incredibly sad to be intoxicated, probably in the dark, being so desperate to get away. It's kind of triggering for me. I'm wondering what else the autopsy could tell us that we don't know. Well, Gina, to me, it'd be nice to know defensive wounds, the bruising. Was she punched? Was she beat up before she was killed? Things like that would be important to know from the autopsy. And obviously whether she was raped. A rape kit should have been done. And I'm sure it was. Kitty, nice to see you. You must be new. I don't recognize your name. I'm late to the live, but was thinking about David. Since he couldn't get it up before, maybe he saw her walking and decided to try again, leading to the assault and murder. Yeah, I could buy into that maybe. Good job, Kitty. Thin jacket. Is that what she was wearing, Hawk? How do we know that? See you, Moon. Thanks for attending again. Why are the police still withholding reports and autopsy report? Because that's what police do. They don't share the information with the public. Ligature in a truck cab makes sense to me because it's a quick way to get someone quiet, and if you're strong, you can have the other hand over the mouth. There's probably a lot of information they are holding on to so the perpetrator doesn't know. Absolutely. They absolutely. Paula from Rhode Island, I'm guessing. You look familiar, but you're a new member, so thank you. Teresa. Hi, everyone. Joining in late isn't an autopsy report public information. No, not that I'm aware of. Well, Katie's up there. I forgot I missed hers. Well, where was she for 2 days? Found naked and strangled with ligature. That may not be a full blown sex sadist, but shows tendencies, or he would have dumped elsewhere. Where was she for 2 days? She just wasn't found. Um, Presumably, but yeah, it's possible that she was. The gap is December 5th. It's 5:30 in the morning until she was found December 8th. She could have been alive that whole time. I don't think I don't think they were able to determine that. I don't think they gave a time of death or even a day of death. But most assume it was December 5th at 5:30 in the morning because she was that close to being home. Could have she been held captive for 2 days? She could have been. I guess that's possible. Clothing was given in newspaper articles. Okay. Well, what was she wearing? Thin jacket. I understand that. Jeans, mismatched shoes. I guess that's it. That's all we know. Why was she found naked with her clothes near her? Well, I'm guessing that she was sexually assaulted. Again, what other reasoning would that be? Goldie thinks it's the upset boyfriend, huh? Rick. I think Rick had an alibi, but I'm not sure. David probably couldn't get it up if there were like five guys in the room. So, yeah, I could see him getting discouraged and going back to rape her by himself. That's a good possibility. Very good possibility. But again, I would focus in on the guy that had a scratch on his face. And I go into that more on tomorrow's video, which you guys will see tonight. Um, if he lived north of there on 495 and he had a scratch on his face and he was from the Presidential Arms, big circle around that guy. That's who I'd be looking at. They said his DNA was on her jeans, but were they on the outside or the crotch area? That's what I was talking about earlier, Hawk. I would want to know that too. She could have been held for 2 days, which would explain the eggs and the quaaludes. Certainly could. Certainly could. Jerry said that's the reason they know about quaaludes and eggs because mother had the report affixed to the fridge. Yep, that's what I understand. I heard that. I'd like to know where it is now. Maybe the Garlic driver dropped her at the police station. I would say yes to it being open all night. It's not that small of a town. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I just don't know about this one. All right, we got 15 minutes left. Let's open it up to any and all questions. So throw them at me. I got a good case for next week. That's all I'm telling you. Was any info given out on her estimated time of death? I don't think so. There, Hawk wants to know. Jumping on it already. What's next week's case? So next week's case is the Girl Scout murders. I'm here to tell you right now, of all the cases that we've done, I was the most invested, did the most research, and was drawn in the most by that case. Heartbreaking is not even the word. The depth of that case, the criminal profiling, the evidence, the suspect, the magnitude, and of course, the three little victims, by far the most invested I became in a case since I started doing this channel. I'm not talking about cases that I had when I was on the job. So get ready. When I say a lot of research for a video, I'm talking so far a week and a half, 6-hour days of research. So get ready for that next week. Never heard of Girl Scout murders, Donna. Well, you're going to. There was a Girl Scout video uploaded. When I clicked it, it was set to private. I know, because I messed up. So what happened was I started to record a deep dive on it. And it was so long. It was over 2 hours. And so when I went to save it from my phone, there was not enough storage. And I had to delete all my apps. I had to delete all my pictures, all videos, everything from the phone, just so I wouldn't be able to lose that. So then when I reinstalled YouTube, the default settings weren't there. And when it uploaded, it went right to public instead of private, which it normally goes to. So in 5 minutes, I'm getting comments on the video, and I'm like, oh my God, that's supposed to be set to private. I'm not ready for it. You guys didn't see the key clue yet? You didn't see the unsolved or solved? So I had to get in there quick and change it. So I'm sorry. I ruined that for you. Oh, I know that case, but didn't they solve it, or was it a similar case? Well, you'll have to see on Solved or Unsolved. What decade will the Steelers win their next Super Bowl? It certainly isn't anytime soon, Goldie. Pittsburgh they are going to realize what they had in Ben Roethlisberger. They took him for granted for the past 18 years. And when he's gone, they're going to regret it. But he has to go. He's old. It's time to retire, Ben. Laura, it's a P.O. box. Yeah, I didn't see anything from Laura, but yes, that's my address. Any funny USMC ball stories? I only went to one USMC ball. And of course, I don't remember it. You can probably imagine why. I had one picture of me there, and I don't even know where that is anymore. I can tell the next one will be an emotional roller coaster. Yes. Yes, it is. Get yourself a USB drive. I did. And so I got this little dandy thing that plugs right into my phone. 512 gigabytes. Doesn't work. Junk. Gina, I missed yours. Let me go back up and see. Timeline change. I went to get the description of what she was last wearing and noticed instead that the newspaper reported she had been last seen leaving the train stop at 12:30. Yeah, that's not accurate. Born and raised in Philly. Go Eagles. Donna, you were one of my favorite until you mentioned that. At least it's not the Cowboys. What's my plans for Christmas? I don't really have any plans, Stacy. Same old Christmas routine. Get up, wait for my daughter to open the presents and put a big smile on my face. And that's all. That's all I care about. Paula from Rhode Island, you're awesome. Well, thank you. You're awesome. I appreciate that. Doc is yawning about sports. That's great. Get one that has loads of space. Well, I thought 500 gigabytes was a lot of space. Apparently not. Um, what's next week's date? Are we is next week Christmas yet? Yeah. So the 23rd would be our next live. I think I'll be able to do that. Yeah, I'll do that. But in the meantime, we'll do some giveaways here. Yes, I saw the tornado through Kentucky. It's horrible. Have you watched Mindhunters? It's based on Douglas and Wrestler. Yep, I've watched it. I thought it was a very good series. Very good. And again, I didn't when I, when I knew Ann Burgess, when I met her, she was a part of my organization. Uh, we met at, well, I can't even remember where, North Carolina, I think, her and her husband. And I talked to her, obviously, about her involvement, what she could do for me and the organization, the experience and everything that she brings. And at the time, they were working on like a crime scene, interactive crime scene on a computer where you could go in and when you clicked on a certain button, it'd bring up the real life picture of the crime scene. It was pretty neat. And they were trying to get me involved in that, I think, a little bit. But I didn't know that the show was about her while I was watching it. I found out later. So it's crazy. Yes, Stacy. Anybody in Australia? I just checked the other day to see if Australia was open back up, and it's not. I can't send anything to Australia, so I know you're out, Stacy. Did you hear that Stevie Branch's father was killed in a car accident a few months ago? I don't think I knew that. Yeah, like I said last week, go to the, if you guys have Instagram, go to that, like that, follow it. I don't know even what the hell you do there, but whatever you do it. If you, there's also a group on Facebook for Unsolved No More. You can go to that. I have a page on Facebook. I don't post a lot of things, but I post enough. So you can be on that. Also, Twitter. You know, if you're into that social media stuff, in order to keep, know what's going on, go and check that stuff out. The Instagram handle is hashtag Unsolved No More. All right, let me think of a good question here. I have to look around. It gives me inspiration for a question. Nobody noticed either that I changed some stuff around behind me. I figured somebody would notice that. No one did. Different picture of Elvis over there. Different picture of me in the middle. Got In Cold Blood over there that nobody noticed. Guess you guys are more focused on this ugliness than that ugliness, I guess. Donna, Elvis pick. Did you notice that? So maybe somebody did notice. Okay. I still haven't thought of a question yet. It has to do with rock and roll. All right, if somebody, this is going to be an easy one, but I know somebody's going to guess wrong. What is my favorite rock band? I hear all those keyboards typing. Donna, you got it. You got it first. Yes, the Doors I do like, and they used to be my favorite, but I have converted to Leonard Skinner. Now, Donna spelled it completely wrong, but I'm still going to give her credit for it. Brittany, you're close with Guns N' Roses. They're in my top 5. Zeppelin, I feel, is the best band of all time, but they're not my favorite. It's Leonard Skinner. So, Donna, I'm going to give you a choice. So, hold on. You tell me, Donna, which book you want, and I will sign it and send it to you. So, you have the choice of The Murders of Gail and Tamara, The Cold Case Journal, or Unsolved No More. Whichever one you want, I'll sign and send it to you. I'll wait for your answer, but you have to send me your address. So you're going to have to get on my website and send it to me. Donna, Unsolved No More. Okay. Let me think of another one, so I'll give away the other book. Who is my favorite country music singer? I know I've said this on videos, so Donna, you got it again, but you can't be the winner. So Andrea, she got it. So Andrea, if you do not already have this book, I will send that to you. So make sure that you get on my webpage and send me your address. Okay? All right. I've got to go. It was a fun chat. I appreciate it. Please leave this chat and remember Teresa Corley. It's the most important part of all this that we do. And it's not just me. We all do it together. All right? It's very important for you guys to know. I couldn't do any of this without you. You guys feed me. You keep me positive, and you make things happen. So I appreciate your support, as always. But always remember the victims, and remember Teresa tonight. Now, next week is going to be very trying. The deep dive alone is over 2 hours, I think. A lot of research into this. So prepare yourself, do some reading, check up the Girl Scout murders, and be prepared. It's going to be an emotional week. Okay? I'm not going to tell you guys Merry Christmas because I'm going to see you next Thursday. All right? So watch the videos, go to Instagram, go to Twitter, get more subscribers for this channel, I guess, because the more subscribers we have, there's strength in numbers, right? So Moon put it out that everybody should be hashtagging Ken's crew. And I like it. So on behalf of Ken's crew, name's out.